They're taking their instruction right now. And they're off. The women's 3,000 meters here at the Lilac Grand Prix is underway. Judy Jones moves to the front, and Ella Donahue tucks in right behind her. She carries that 8:48 best that opened her season last year, so we'll see what she can do here.
Right, and so as I was saying, a lot of these athletes, winter is usually this opportunity to put in some strength. You're still, months out from the World Championships that aren't until August. These athletes are using usually the indoor season as an opportunity to test where their fitness is at, to see how fast they can run off of this strength base that they've built. Having been coached by Pete, I know that this winter season, he never does just strength at one time and then just speed at another, but he's primarily focused on they're at altitude, they're putting in the mileage, they're getting in the work. And it's not until really, later in the year as they get closer to the championships that they're doing a lot of sharpening. But this is an important test to see where they're at. And, for Ella, 2 years into the program now, she's got to be having a lot of confidence in herself, a strong relationship with Pete, and an opportunity, as you see, having gone out right behind the pacer to just go after this standard that she wants to hit.
And about a 72 there for the first 400 meters with Judy Jones out front. Ella Donahue, then Karina Viljoen and Grace Barnett-Stallnaker there. Grace, an amazing story there. 2 years ago, she had a massive PR down at the Sound Running invite, I think. Maybe it was the track meet, one of the Sound Running events.
There were a lot of massive PRs at that competition, yeah.
But she was dueling for the front in the second heat, ran 15:12, and I don't know how much time she knocked off her personal best, but it was a big chunk. And then last year, running 4:05 at the Portland Track Festival, we know that she can do a lot more damage than 9:17, and I saw her call that out earlier too when she saw that populate on the Trackland site that's her seed time. She said, "Oh, we got to do something about that."
It's fun for athletes, and I think it's really important for athletes to do a variety of events because it's a long season. It's a long career. If you only ever do the same race over and over again, it can become stale. It's important to be testing yourself at these different distances because you can kind of you learn about yourself in the process of doing an event that maybe isn't your primary event. And eventually, a lot of athletes will also move up in distance over time too. So, I think it's exciting to be able to start off the season with an event where, you feel like you have some low-hanging fruit because that's motivating so that you can really get out there without judgment and just go after it.
And here, Judy Jones is out front, too. She's got about a little over a 2-second gap on the field. So Ella Donahue doing a lot of work leading Viljoen and Stallnaker here. About 3:02 for Judy Jones through the 1,000, and 3:04 for Ella Donahue. So it looks like Viljoen's coming up to maybe share the load a little bit, get in front of Donahue, and maybe try to close that gap up to Judy Jones.
So just for reference, that 8:55 split that we talked about for the qualifying standard, that's about a 36-second per 200 meters. Of course, we're on an indoor track, so it's 200-meter splits that we're giving. And the 1K that they would have wanted to hit was 2:58 if they were spot on. Now, of course, in longer distance races, you don't necessarily need to go out right on pace. You can actually make up a lot of time over the last 400 to 600 meters if you've stayed within yourself. So, the fact that they're not exactly on pace at the start isn't concerning. But it does mean that you're going to see the pace pick up over the last K if they're going to want to get the time that they're hoping for.
And if there's anything we know that Ella Donahue can do, it's pick up the pace at the end, too. We saw last year at a Sound Running track meet, also in a 5,000, where she jumped into the second heat of that and blazed the last lap. I think she ran her last lap in close to 60 seconds to just out-lean the second-place finisher and take the win there. So we know that she's got some wheels when it comes to the finish. She just has to stay close there, and it looks like they're closing the gap on Judy Jones here.
Yeah.
And getting back on pace.
Yeah, and I think it's tough to. Nobody really wants to be leading from the gun most often, especially at the start of the season, especially when you're coming off of altitude and heavy training. And of course, you have two teammates. it's great to see them working together because there's going to be a lot of comfort in, they're used to sharing a lane on the track and they're used to each other's body language. So you can see the splits on the screen. Jones is hitting just under 35.9, just under 36 seconds for her 200-meter split. She's right on, doing a great job.
And we've got the 1,600 splits here, too. So this pack, Viljoen, up here with a 4:55 through the 1,600 meters.
About 10 seconds off of what the 8:55 kind of splits would be.
And now it's Stallnaker out in the front here, followed by Ella Donahue, the home team, and then Karina Viljoen behind her. Stallnaker making a push. Like you said, it's been a tough, harsh winter down there in Mammoth, as it has been in Flagstaff, too, where a lot of these athletes train.
Yeah.
Very snowy. So conditions have been difficult to train this winter.
Yeah, that's the feedback I've gotten from the Flagstaff groups as well, is that, it's been an effort to get in the mileage because it's just been along the whole kind of western side of the country, a lot more rainfall, a lot more snowfall. But, it's early. You learn to adjust. You just have to, I think one of the athletes, I saw them share a post, Mother Nature is in charge, and you just got to roll with it.
2,000 meters reached in 6:11. So that is still under Stallnaker's personal best. We'll see if they can ratchet this pace down, or are they playing a little cat and mouse out here, seeing which one of these three athletes has in the tank and what they want to use in order to get the win tonight.
Yeah, got about coming on 4 laps to go, so half mile.
800 meters remaining here. And that was a 37.8 lap. Stallnaker at the front. And it's Mammoth, UAC, and Mammoth.
And a big gap.
Big gap back to 4th and 5th. And it's all this top 3 here.
I think with Stallnaker, with this big, a big PB that she's anticipating, it's exciting to see her just put herself out there and go for it. And then, we'll see we're entering that exciting phase of the race where we get to see kind of the athletes are close enough that they'll start to throw down the moves and see if someone like Ella wants to try to push for that lead.
So do you see any anticipation on these athletes' faces or anything about their movement at this point that makes you think that they're about to make a move, or are they sitting right now?
Stallnaker looks really great to me. Ella's kind of clipping up on her, so it'll be interesting, although she's coming in on the inside, so it'll be interesting to see if she's going to go wide and try to get by. Viljoen is falling back a bit. Her eyes are down. Her gaze is more inward. So, yep, here we see them separating a bit, and Ella coming out on the shoulder.
And it's inside 400 meters to go, so this is Donahue territory right here.
Yep.
But Stallnaker not giving an inch.
Held her off.
So this is under 300 meters to go now. Stallnaker fighting her off, but on the curve. Donahue takes the lead, and the crowd erupts. And here's that famous Donahue kick. Looking over her shoulder, there's the bell. And she's turning on the heat right now. That is a big gap right away. We know Donahue's an intense athlete, too. When you talk to her, you can tell she's a very, very nice woman, but a ferocious competitor when she hits the oval. And you can see it now. She's not showing any mercy in this final circuit. Swinging onto the home straight. Singlet matching the track. She's blending right in. We'll see what she gets right at the line.
9:05.
And it looks like the clock stopped a little bit early here, so we have a 9:11.87. But yes, that famous Donahue kick comes through again in 30.99 for the final 200.
Yeah, you see with so her last 3 200-meter splits. So 600 to go was a 38, then a 34, and then a 30. So really, you could see coming. She tried on the back stretch with about 350 to go, was held off. Tried again, then coming into the final lap and was able to get by. And, just once she went, she didn't stop. In comparison, that final lap of Grace was 37 versus Ella's 30. So,
so Grace fought her off as long as she could.
Yes, she did, and she just missed that personal best that she was striving for. But, props and